I want to start this off with a rumor I heard. And, I don't know how credible it is, the sources. You see the stuff on social media, but it was Boston Celtics are looking to shop Kemba Walker to add another star player to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Kemba was supposed to be that guy. And look, context is always needed in these scenarios. And we all know how it ended with Kyrie and Kemba. There was that kind of trade-off, if you will, and it worked out. It seemed to work out well on paper, bringing in Kemba, and the chemistry obviously was much better. But here's the thing. Before we get into what Kemba is right now, I was listening to Rick Bucher's podcast a few weeks ago, and he's an OG. He has credible sources. And he brought up the fact that, look, Danny Ainge has burnt a lot of bridges around the league. And he went on to say that several teams have told him, they're not messing with Danny Ainge. He legit tried to trade Kemba knowing he needed knee surgery. He needed his knee cleaned up and didn't even didn't tell them, basically. He didn't inform them. He was trying to trade an injured player on the low. And then you go back to the Isaiah Thomas situation to Cleveland, the hip surgery. So Danny's a dirty dog, man. He's a snake in the grass. And I think that more front offices have become aware of it and, quite frankly, offended. And so he's burnt these bridges. That lessens the options, the possibilities of moving Kemba Walker. Never mind the fact that Kemba Walker is 5'12" and on the wrong side of 30. Oh, yeah, and he's got knee problems on a max contract. And so I think they're kind of stuck with Kemba Walker. Again, I get why they made the move initially. Losing Kyrie, it felt like, all right, well, let's slide this guy right in here. And he seems like he'll fit, and all that. And then in hindsight now, it looks like it's a problem. And moving forward, that's a lot of salary that he's eating up. They're already soft in the middle, too small. Tristan Thompson he looks to be washed. And so as exciting as those two young wing players are, Boston finds themselves, for so long, everybody, I think, has held Boston as this team with all these assets. They're so aggressive, and they're the team that everybody kind of envied, the young team on the come up because of Tatum and Brown. And I understand that they're still a nice, good team. Don't get me wrong, but they've had some setbacks here, and Kemba Walker looks like his contract may hold them back from really loading that team up the way they want to. And then I think the other thing that's kind of low-key happening in Boston is Jaylen Brown not better than Jason Tatum? His athleticism, his competitiveness, and his motor to go along with shot selection, which wasn't always so good, it seems to have at the very least pulled him neck and neck with Tatum. We know Tatum is the better talent, but then when the games are playing out, it doesn't necessarily play out that way. And so, look, that's not necessarily a bad thing to have happen, right? You've got these two young all-star wings, and they certainly can coexist. I really like their chemistry. But I think it was a little bit of an unexpected turn. I think everybody was waiting for Tatum to take that step into superstardom, and instead it's Jaylen Brown pulling up alongside him and saying, I'm just as big of a star as you, bruh. Anyway, they were in Utah last night, and they got spanked. But, I mean, who isn't getting spanked in Utah, right? There's no shame in that. But Kemba Walker looked like Mike Conley from last year. He shot 2 of 12. And Donovan Mitchell, the Spider, hung 36 on him. Hit a bunch of threes. Like, when Mitchell's hitting the three, we all know that's problematic. There's not a whole lot you can do with him. But that being said, I still thought that their strategy was a bit curious, that they were switching everything on Mitchell. And so you were watching him proceed to cook Tristan Thompson and Tice and kind of do what he wants. If you ask me, I would have thought the strategy would have been you stick Jaylen Brown on him, you have him stay attached, fight over the top of screens, and you drop your bigs. Force Donovan Mitchell to score in the mid-range. Then again, I guess maybe they wanted to take away all that three-point shooting, but it didn't work out for him last night as Utah continues to roll teams over